Today we are back on the food scrap train. These things pile up, but I'm going to show you 4 incredible ways to make these into pantry staples that you'll use over and over again. Now I know that these are all the kind of food scraps that end up in your bin at home. After being a chef for 20 years, I see form and function and amazingness even in leftover floppy veg from the fridge. So I'm going to show you cooks at home 4 amazing ways to turn these scraps into delicious pantry staples that even someone who thinks they can't cook will be able to achieve. And make sure you stick around for the last one because it is an absolute flavour bomb and you will never look at these scraps in the same way again. Now, stale bread, this is up there with one of the most wasted things that goes in the bin. You buy a pack, you only need 3, but actually you get 4, that old scenario.
So I end up paying for 4 buns I don't need. So I am removing the superfluous buns.
Maybe it's the end of your bread bits that you don't like eating. Save them all, put them in a bag, put them in a freezer. But if it's already too late and they've got more like this, well then you can just get straight onto the first step and we can make ourselves the most basic pantry staple, breadcrumbs. All you want to do when you're making breadcrumbs is make sure that the bread is super dry. So even if it's an old bit that's been sat in the cupboard, there might still be a tiny bit of moisture in the middle. And what's really great is if you've got an air fryer with a dehydrate function, you can really make sure all that moisture's gone before you blitz them up. But if not, you can skip on to step 2, which is blitzing this bad boy up. Get it blitzed and wha-bam. And as you just saw there, I just sifted them through a colander because you do sometimes end up with them little lumps, and with my old food processor we don't always get them all. So if there's anyone out there who works for someone that makes food processors, I'd love to do a sponsored video. Like I said, accumulate them all, put them in the freezer, turn them into your own breadcrumb. A really great idea as well is if it has been in the freezer to just like give it a little minute in the oven just to make sure any of that moisture from the freezer has gone, meaning that you get a better blend. But for something that you've already paid for, why go out and pay for it again? And these guys will just keep in the cupboard for ages. They're dry, they're done. Easy, simple. Maybe the most boring pantry staple that you could possibly make, but nonetheless, fantastic way to use up your bread waste. So let's go on to number 2. Number 2 about pantry staples made from rubbish. Now, again, maybe this one's a little bit boring, but I bet every single one of you uses at home. We are making veg stock because it is one of the easiest things that you can do with all of your scraps and your bendy bits of veg. The way that I love to make this is by accumulation. These bags here, I've been filling up for a few weeks. Every time maybe I peel a carrot or a parsnip or peel an onion or even a garlic or chop off the end of a carrot, I accumulate them in my bags and pop them in the freezer. And then when you've got a whole bunch of them, just make veggie stock. And I bet every single one of you has something like this at home. This is our silly little bowl of garlics. So you know them ones, the tiny little guys that no one wants to use or peel or chop? They seem to accumulate in this little bowl in our cupboard. So great way to use them, chuck them all in the stock. If you've got fresh herbs in your garden, put some rosemary, add some thyme, you can customize it however you like, chuck it all in a pan, bring it up to a boil and let it simmer for half an hour to 40 minutes and you'll have amazing veg stock that you made with no salts, no additives, no nasties that come in a veg bouillon that you might buy in the supermarket, so make your own. The only thing that I wouldn't add into a veggie stock is something starchy like a potato skin or maybe even like pumpkin, because they have a starchiness which means that your broth could end up a little bit cloudy and maybe not as nice. I mean, it will still taste good, but you know, maybe you're all about the clarity, I'm not sure. And there it is. All you need to do is pass it through a sieve, give all them veggies a squeeze. Oh, Jesus, nothing like a little pass and making a goddamn mess, but whatever. And then you can just decant it into a bottle and keep it in the fridge. homemade veggie stock from stuff that would have gone in the bin. Obviously let it cool before you put the lid on. And if you like this, then you should also check out my other video. I made chicken broth, but I did a cool little thing with that where you can reduce it down and put it into ice cube trays and keep it in the freezer, so you just have to dilute it the next time you bring it out. But for minimal effort and something that would have easily gone to waste, and you've got yourself some yummy veggie stock perfect for your next soup or maybe risotto. So let's move on to the next pantry staple made from rubbish. Garlic skins, onion skins, and even the old bits of the end of an onion. It might not look very exciting, but I promise you, it's another winner. It might not be as exciting as number 4, which is friggin' Chinese XO delicious yummy sauce. So let's hurry up with this one so that we can get onto that one. But with all of these things, you can make a garlic and onion salt, the easiest thing in the world to season stuff, or use in a spice blend, or just use on your potatoes to give them a little zhuzh when you're baking them. It's super easy, and as per usual, you have all the ingredients you need already. It's as simple as drying them out, blending them up, and mixing them with some salt. So let's get them going, and then you can just use it for all your fantastic things that you want to eat. Who are you, Missy? Hello. And here are all the skins and all the bits, dehydrated and fully crispy. And now it's as easy as blending them up and adding in the salt. It actually smells incredible, and you can't believe how much flavour is just in them skins and the bits at the bottom and what it's going to create. And that's it, fine powder dust. Oh my God, the smell, it's really quite incredible. And it's just essence of onion, that's all it is. I mean, it's onion powder. And you can even leave it like that. You could even add in like some celery leaves or something, but why not make it into an onion salt that you can dust on all your things? So add in 4 or 5 teaspoons, mix it all together. And there you have perfect onion seasoning that you know what's in it. It smells absolutely delicious, and you can just keep in your cupboard. Another great pantry staple made from waste. So now let's get on to that last incredible staple called Chinese condiment, XO sauce. We have made it to the last pantry staple slash condiment. I mean, it lives in the pantry until you open it, and then it can go in the fridge and it's a condiment, but whatever, it doesn't matter. This will make you look at all the things you throw in the bin in a completely different light. It's the most incredible Asian condiment XO sauce. Now, if you are making it in the OG kind of way, you're gonna have some, you're gonna have some Chinese sausage, you're gonna have some dried scallops, you're gonna have some like dried shrimps, but we are keeping this veggie, and it doesn't mean that it won't taste absolutely friggin' incredible. Oh. Now, the base of an XO sauce usually is onions, but I've got the end of some leeks, so I'm going to use that. We've got mushrooms. These guys, you know, these are also a great little flavour umami bomb anyway. And then I've just got some veggie trimmings. It really doesn't matter what you put in here. It's all going to get blended up, and it's super easy to make. This is a vegetarian, well, if you eat fish, this is a vegetarian version, but you can make it vegan, just leave it out and add a little bit more of, well, what we're gonna add is nori sheets, because that kind of gives it that little fishy flavor without it actually being a fishy flavor. And then we're gonna add some fish sauce. So, you know, if you weren't making it vegan, leave it out. The only things we're gonna add in is chili and some star anise and some ginger and garlic. They are the only extra things that we're gonna add, and some soy sauce, something that you might already have in the pantry. So I think what we should do first is get this stuff blended, and then we'll head to the stove and we'll get it cooked. So when you blend up your mushrooms and your carrots and everything like that, we're gonna add in 1 sheet of nori, so that we can get a little bit of that fish, that kind of fishy-esque flavour in there. And then we'll chop up all the other bits and then we can get this cooked. Because what you want to do is make sure that it's really finely chopped when you add it all in. But the leeks, I'm going to cut them all up really nice and small, along with the ginger and the garlic. I've got about 5 cloves of garlic here and a good little knob of ginger, and that you can even grate it on the grater, making it a little bit easier to deal with. Also, when I went into the fridge to find the ginger, I found this dried old bit of chilli, so you know, look at him. I mean, he's a mess, so he can go in too. Now, we've just got to take it to the stove and cook it. It probably takes about 20 minutes to cook. So fill up your pan with some oil. You probably want about 100 mils. Warm that up, and then we're first going to add in the leeks, and we're going to cook them until they're golden. Then we're going to add in the ginger, the garlic and the chilli, 1 star anise. Let that cook and then permeate for a little minute. And then we're going to add in all them veggie scraps. And what you want to do is cook this all down until it's like thick and you can see it's all changing. We're going to add in a tablespoon of, I've got some Korean chili powder. You want it to be quite fiery, but you know, it's up to you. Whatever spice level you like is whatever you make. If you don't like spices at all, keep it more aromatic. Put in some cinnamon and like a little bit of Chinese 5 spice. In fact, let's put some Chinese 5 spice in. 1 little teaspoon of that too, because that will just give it a great flavour. And then we're going to add in about 2 tablespoons of soy sauce and some fish sauce and let that all cook down a little bit more. And there it is, all cooked down. Honestly, if you could smell it in here, oh, it is just next level. This stuff is fragrant, packed full of that wonderful umami that we all love. And all it is a bunch of old veggie scraps. It's salty and savoury and it's just a great addition to anything you're making. Imagine you've made a stir fry and you just want a little bit of extra, well, this is the bloody condiment for you. And you know, the whole purpose of me doing this is to show you that you can make these amazing things with like very little stuff. Now, I'm just gonna get a little bit of rice and we're actually gonna give this a try. And some of this over that, oh, give it a little mix in. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God, that is, oh my God. You actually wouldn't know that there wasn't fish in there from that little bit of fish sauce and them nori leaves. Oh, that is next level. That is next level. It will, oh my God. Even just on some plain, boring white rice. So good. That is seriously one of the best things I've ever made from veggie scraps. Oh my God, make it. I hope you've enjoyed this week's episode, but again, it's all about giving you guys ideas on how to turn them veggie scraps that would have gone into the bin into, well, downright amazing condiments and stuff that can go in your pantry. There we just have another mouthful. If you've enjoyed this episode, give me a like, give me a subscribe. Go check out some of my other zero waste videos. There's a whole bunch of them, and don't forget to tune back in for the next one. It might not be zero waste, but I tell you what, it will all be about things that you can make at home that are super simple that you never thought you could possibly do. Thanks for tuning in, and thank you to every single one of you who ever reaches out and sends me a message or sends me an email or interacts with anything that I do. I truly appreciate it. And also, if you're interested, I might be doing some live cooking lessons. Sign up to my newsletter, it's in the description box down below, and you will be the first to know. I love you all. See you soon.